Hey there, it's Keaghan. I am sitting down to do a reading for all signs. So all 12 signs will be contained within this reading. The focus of this reading is getting information about what your spirit guides are trying to communicate with you right now. And so right now is whenever you found this particular video. If you happen to see it or it's suggested to you shortly after I post it, that's fine. If you find this a year after I recorded it, and you felt compelled to click through on this, just know that there are messages that are trying to come through for you. Time is a tricky thing, and so even though I'm recording this on a specific date, might not have messages for you that would make sense until a different time, a different date. So this is not something that's going to expire. If it has a couple of years that has passed between when I recorded it and when you find it, just know that this is still valid and that your spirit guides are trying to communicate through this particular video to deliver messages and give clarity and insight for you regarding whatever is revealed based on your sign. Now, I'm only going to be pulling 4 cards per sign. I'm going to keep these relatively short. If you want to get a more in-depth reading, if you want to get more insight, or if you just want to hang out with me longer than 4 cards, you can watch the signs associated with your sun, moon, Venus, and rising. So depending on what's going on in your natal chart, hopefully that gives you a couple of different options that you can watch. And I will be putting timestamps in the description box as well as a pinned comment so that you can easily navigate through to find the sign that you wish to watch. So with that said, I'm going to start with Aries, work my way all the way through to Pisces. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's see what's going on for Aries. Spirit guides who wish to come through to communicate for the sign of Aries. Okay. Go straight off the top of the deck for you guys. We have the Queen of Swords with Strength, the Page of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune coming out reversed here. So let's talk about this in terms of messages that are trying to come through. Okay, Queen of Swords leading things off, Aries. It feels like it's a time where you need to be truthful, you need to be honest, and you need to be able to find the strength and the courage to really be completely and totally honest. I feel like there is energy that's showing up here that is, it feels a little bit hesitant to me. It feels like you might be in a situation where you are trying to figure out if there's a way to maybe have a softer delivery or maybe not necessarily say everything that you want to say, but that's not possible. It's really coming through clear energy that you have to be able to be totally honest. For some of you, I also feel like this is really about setting boundaries, and I don't think that it's about trying to get clear about what your boundaries are. I think that you are actually pretty clear about where your boundaries exist, but there's a need to express that. And what I'll say to you in terms of what's coming through is that if you try to sugarcoat it, if you try to hold back, if you try to give it in like bits and pieces, it's not going to have the impact that you need it to have, right? So you have to be able to really be totally clear about what's going on for you. Now, the other thing with this Queen of Swords that I do want to say here is that if you have any concern about the potential consequences of being honest, the potential consequences of sharing what it is that you truly need, meaning if you fear that doing this might cause a relationship to end, a friendship to end, cause some sort of issue with your job, just know that the Queen of Swords, the energy coming through here, is the energy that's related to this card around, this is a queen that can take care of herself. Very self-sufficient energy, doesn't necessarily need to have the King of Swords there. Is fine kind of on her own. And so just know that this card with the Strength card, whatever happens, right? Whatever happens, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to navigate this and take care of yourself and figure things out. Now with the Page of Wands here, this is interesting to me because I feel like, to be quite honest with you, this communication and the setting of the boundaries and finding your own confidence and really being in a place where you are like you're trusting yourself and you're loving yourself and you're prioritizing yourself and you're speaking up and sharing what it is that you need and being clear about what's okay and what's not and really delivering that honesty. It gives you a boost. It gives you kind of like a confidence boost, but it also just puts you in this situation where you feel very courageous. You get your courage back. And this Page of Wands feels like kind of the natural consequence of that. Like when you become a little bit more brave and you get your courage kind of back where you're used to it being, I'll phrase it that way. It leads to you having this openness to new things, to like new adventures, new opportunities, things that really push you to grow and expand. You're more willing to take chances. You're more willing to gamble a little bit on things that may or may not work out, and you're less tied to the outcome. You're less tied to it mattering whether it goes the way that you hope it will, and you're more open to just having the experience and the opportunity itself. Now, wrapping things up, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is showing up reversed here. And I feel like this is just something that is coming through to say, this is something that you've been working on for a while. The Wheel of Fortune, when it's reversed, represents cycles of life that we're kind of stuck in, that we keep repeating. It's a situation where, we might have felt like we didn't have control in certain situations, or maybe life itself had become like a bit out of control. We might be in a place where we felt like we've had just like a run of bad luck, or things just haven't been going the way that we want them to. I don't feel like this is necessarily a place where you're heading, because again, I think you could end up there, right? Like this card could come back here. You could, continue to be stuck in the cycle. But if you do what the cards are saying and you really trust yourself, you speak what you need, you make it clear where your boundaries are, you make it clear what's acceptable and what's not, you communicate with honesty and openness, regardless of how the other person or the other people, whatever the situation is, regardless of how they respond, whether it's a positive or a negative, you are moved into a better energy by speaking your mind and being honest and truthful. Okay, so Aries, I hope that helped you. Again, these are going to be relatively short. If you want more insight into this, and you know what your moon, your Venus, or your rising sign placements are, be sure to check those out as well. So let's look at Taurus. And really quickly, Taurus, I have a list here. I'm just going to erase Aries. Because when I do these, if I don't remove people from my list, I skip signs. So I don't want to do that. Okay, Spirit Guides, please bring communication for my Taurus viewers who will eventually watch this video. Would you like to communicate with them, please? Okay. Straight off the top for you, Taurus, we have 5 of Swords upright, the King of Cups upright. We have the 7 of Swords reversed, and the 2 of Wands reversed. Let's just read these left to right. So, Taurus, it feels like you are in a situation right now where, to be honest with you, you're kind of like watching your back. And it feels like you're not quite sure who to trust. And it's interesting what's coming through for me here, because this feels very specific, and I'm just going to go with it, because this is probably exactly what you guys need to hear. Okay, what I'm being shown is a situation where in a friend group, one friend has come to you and revealed information about another friend. This could be just something that they've done, something that they've said, something about this person that was shared in confidence. It could be them saying to you, this person said this about you. What's interesting though here is that you are kind of not quite sure whether or not you believe this person. And there's a layer to it where it's like you're not quite sure whether you believe what they're saying, but it's also like you just don't like the way that they're doing this. This feels to me like that situation where someone has come to you and they're like, well, this is what so-and-so said, or this is what they did, or this is what they think. And for you, you're looking at this and saying, okay, well, if you're talking to me about them, or you talking to them about me, do you have some sort of ulterior motive? The energy here is just really about like, I don't know, it's like there's not trust here. There's a certain type of like sneaky energy where you're not believing this person at face value. The King of Cups showing up here, interestingly enough, it feels like this is energy that's kind of related to you. Even though this is water sign energy, I'm sensing that this is going to make sense to you, because the King of Cups is really in tune with their own intuition. They are in tune with their emotions. And these two cards are playing off of each other for me, because you feel like you know where you stand with people. You feel like you understand who people are. You feel like you've established trust and understanding with the people that you are around. For some of you, this could be maybe not even a friend connection. This could be a romantic connection with the King of Cups showing up here. Cups tend to be around, notions around like our emotions and our feelings and love and relationships and things like that. So it could be a situation where someone has come to you and said specifically your partner's up to something, or your partner is doing something, or said something about you, or they're seeing someone else. But with the King of Cups knows where they stand, and they're able to listen to their intuition and tune into things and really be able to get guidance. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not fully buying into what this person is selling, this other person. Now, Seven of Swords showing up reversed here. If this is a situation where someone is up to something, the Seven of Swords reversed is, indicating that they will be, exposed. So I feel like what's going on here for you, Taurus, is that you're not buying into this on face value. You're not just blindly believing it, but you are paying close attention. And it's kind of almost like, I feel like you're fact checking things, right? So this Two of Wands, which is reversed over here, this feels like, typically the Two of Wands is about, the plans that we've made not working out, not being able to really solidify something. But what this feels like to me energetically is you fact checking things. It's almost like you're trying to see if you can poke holes in things, and it's on both sides. So it's related to this person that I'm feeling with this Five of Swords. Like I said, you're not believing what they have to say at face value, and you're kind of, it's not like an interrogation, but it's like you're questioning them and asking them, like, well, tell me again what you said, or who was it that told you this? You're trying to see if their story holds up. You're also doing it with the person that they're talking about, right? So you're going through and you're replaying the things that you've been told are true, the things that you've been told are factual. You're looking at things and you're really trying to, you're playing this very smart, because you're not showing your cards and you're not believing someone just because they're saying something on either side, right? But you are trusting that you will be able to distinguish between what's real and what's not, what's fact and what's lie. And this feels to me like kind of looking for that place where you can poke a hole in someone's story and be able to really get to the truth of the matter. So I think that this is a situation where right now you're doing what you need to do. It's wise to not kind of blow up. It's wise not to have any sort of confrontations. It's wise not to say that someone's a liar until you've really been able to evaluate this and look at the facts and pull things together. So keep doing that. And just, this is where I'm feeling the most potential energy for you. It's about figuring out where is it that you can maybe have, I'm seeing kind of like the Jenga game. I'm seeing like someone pulling things out and seeing if it's still stable. Eventually you're going to find that weak point. And it's either, unfortunately, right, it's either going to be the person who came to you with the information, right? Either they were misinformed or they had some sort of malicious intent, or the person that they were coming to you with information about, that person has been the one that's been deceptive. And I think your investigation will lead you to being able to figure out what that is, because the Seven of Swords reverse here is that energy of someone who's being caught. There being some sort of consequence to what's happened. And that person being in a situation then where they have to try to, fix it, right? So not really clear right now energetically who's telling the truth. I feel like your suspicion is that this person, the person I talked about at the beginning who came to you with information, your suspicion is up about them. Just know whoever is being dishonest here, it's going to be revealed to you for sure. Okay. Hello there, Gemini. You guys are up next. Bear with me for one moment. I need to remove Taurus from my list. So you guys are at the top of my list here. I've done these styles of readings before, and if I don't remove people when I'm finished reading with them, I'll skip a sign. So to avoid doing that, to make sure everyone gets their information here, I need to just make sure I'm being diligent about removing people from the top of the list. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to turn some of these cards for you. We're going to do 2 more shuffles, then we'll take the top 4 cards. All right, Gemini, let's see what's going on for you. What messages want to come through? Two of Cups upright, Seven of Swords reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, Ace of Swords reversed. Wow. Okay, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you are a Gemini and you are in a relationship with someone right now, Two of Cups is showing that this is a romantic type of relationship, some sort of connection that might, have a little bit more meaning. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. Typically the Two of Cups does represent that, but it can just represent a close relationship, something that feels like there's a deeper connection than acquaintance, something that feels like a bonded type of relationship. So think more in terms of like partnership energy, whether it's romantic or platonic. It's something that, this would be like best friend type of energy. Okay. So in this situation, we have some energy trailing behind this that unfortunately is not necessarily the best energy. We have the Seven of Swords showing up here. It's reversed. This is energy of someone who is caught in some sort of, typically dishonest situation. They're not able to cover their tracks. They're not able to get away with it. They are actually caught, and it feels kind of serious. It feels like a situation where, you're going to want to see some sort of, at a minimum, you're going to want to see an apology. You're going to want to hear that this person has remorse for what they've done. But, there's energy here of really wanting to see them kind of pay for it, wanting to see them really have to suffer, have some punishment, have, some consequences that will maybe force them to be put into an energy of just reevaluating the connection or rethinking what it is that they've been up to. The Ace of Cups showing up here, reversed. This represents, energy about being very disappointed, about, some sort of an emotional loss. It could also represent like a missed opportunity with a person. This could be, especially with this Ace of Swords showing up here, which is also reversed, showing energy of being confused, having poor judgment, really dealing with a lot of stress, not really knowing what to think about a situation. All of this could lead to me taking a look at this and thinking that you were either in a relationship with someone, that you found out that they did something that was a betrayal of that relationship, and ultimately that has, put you into a place of not knowing what to do and feeling very let down and disappointed about it. Or this could be a situation in which you were trying to form a connection with someone and found out that they had some sort of secret. I'm definitely getting energy here of someone who was, pursuing something with someone and found out that they had another relationship, or that they were seeing another person, or that they were married, some sort of secret being exposed, which has left you feeling, really disappointed and not quite sure what you want to do with the situation. Now, I will say with this Two of Cups being upright, or the other cards here are in reversed, it is a confusing thing for you, because even though there is this disappointment and there's clearly something that's happened here, you do feel a connection to this person. So what I would say, in terms of energy coming through, is I feel like the ball is in your court. So if this is something where you want to try to work on this with this person, I do feel like you have most of the leverage here, because I don't feel like this is something where you have done something. I feel like this is something that you've experienced. Ultimately, what I always say in these situations is that you need to prioritize yourself. And so I think this is where most of the energy is coming through for me, is with the Seven of Swords reversed. What do you need to hear? What is an apology going to be enough? Do you need to see this person really make changes? If this person is involved with someone else, do you need to see that relationship actually end? Do you need to have proof of that in some way? Like, what is it that you need in order to feel comfortable? Because the energy right now, you're not comfortable with this person, even though you do feel the connection. So getting very clear about what it is that you need, what it is that you want from this person, expressing that to them, seeing how they respond to that, seeing what they're willing to do on their side is very important. Okay. If you want more insight into this, I think a lot of you might want more insight. If you know your moon, Venus, and rising signs, you can watch those particular signs as well to get a little bit more guidance that's coming through for you. But in terms of like the cards that I have here in front of me, you just have to get clear about what would make you feel safe and what would make you feel like you could trust this person moving forward. And for some of you, you're not going to be able to come up with anything, because this betrayal was it was something that you can't necessarily come back from. And so even though you still feel this connection with this person, it's a situation for you where nothing that they say or do is really going to allow you to trust them again, unfortunately. And so in that situation, it's best for you to kind of move on from this. But if you can come up with things, specific things that this person can do, or specific things that they can promise, specific things that if you see these things happening, it might make you open and receptive to, you know, giving them another chance, then that's up to you. Like, this is your life. You get to do what you want with it. But again, if you're looking for more insight, go and watch your moon, Venus, and rising signs, what I say in those, because it'll probably give you a little bit more clarity here. Okay, so Geminis, we're going to wrap that up. We're going to move on to the sign of Cancer. Hi, Cancers. I'm going to just take Gemini off the top of my list here. Shuffle for you guys. Again, I'm just reminding people, if you want additional, deeper insight, more clarity, more messages coming through, watch your moon, Venus, and rising signs as well. See what your spirit guides wish to communicate for the sun sign of Cancer. Okay. Empress coming out reversed. 4 of Cups upright. 7 of Swords keeps coming out reversed. That's so interesting. And the 2 of Cups coming out. All right. Cancers, let's talk about this. Empress reversed, we're going to start here. Okay. Cancer, this really feels, to be quite honest with you, and I'm just going to be really, really blunt here. You know, the Empress reversed can represent a couple of things, but none of them are really all that great. Usually, when the Empress is reversed, it represents a place where we're focused on ourselves almost to a point that it's becoming problematic. There's a bit of like selfish energy that's showing up here, and there's also energy here about just being really impatient around a situation, but it's kind of like with this 4 of Cups sitting here next to this, it's like this feels like you are kind of presenting energy outward of being very impatient, being very much like about me. And I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you what's coming through for me, okay? But like, you wouldn't be okay if that was coming back to you. Right? You want to be able to take the time to disconnect, to just kind of, you know, sit with things and feel what you want to feel. There's conflicting energy here. It feels very much like this feels like ultimatum or threat energy to me. Cancer. And so in a general reading, I will say here, like, sometimes energies can be reversed. And so if it's reversed for you, that's fine. Like, if someone's doing this to you, I still don't think you like it, right? But this feels like on one side, someone who's putting a lot of pressure, demanding a lot, really kind of being dependent upon another person, being very impatient, being very focused on what they want and what they need, and demanding that those things are prioritized, while they sort of just sit out and they're a bit disconnected and checked out from a situation. I'm saying that it feels almost like an ultimatum or some sort of like threat, because the 7 of Swords is about, you know, someone who's being caught, and there's energy that's just really coming through about wanting to like punish someone, wanting to really punish someone for something that they've done. But ultimately, Cancer, on the tail end of this, and it's very interesting because this card is the card that feels like the most energy to me. The 2 of Cups. Ultimately, I don't want to say it's a game. I don't want to say that's what it is, Cancer, because I don't think you're deliberately kind of playing a game, but you're not being fully honest with this person about how you feel about them. There's a connection here. You really deeply care about this person. It could be a potential, you know, it could be a situation where it's a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be like a business partner. But this person is important to you, and you feel a bond with them. It's something that you feel like this person is meant to be in your life. But something has happened here that has made you kind of pouty. That's the word. Sorry, it took me a while to get there, but that's what this is. It feels kind of pouty. You know, if you look at this, right? I love this illustration because they're just sitting with their arms crossed, and, you know, this is being extended, and they're like, nope, no thank you, I don't want it, right? But that's not true. You do. Ultimately, you do want to be able to have something with this person, but something has happened here that's put you on edge, and it's put you in your feelings. Your emotions are really high, and you are kind of wanting to punish this person. You're wanting them to to hurt. It feels almost like you want them to feel what you felt, but I'm not quite sure that they're clear what it is that they've done, right? Because the Empress reversed is a very disconnected sort of energy. And so when I'm saying like, it's like, this energy, here's what I have. Okay, Cancers, don't say anything to anyone else because I haven't done this for anybody else. I'm so curious about this because this card is giving me this like standoffish, disconnected, it almost feels like High Priestess energy more so than Empress energy of just kind of like disconnected. But it's not a full disconnect because like I said, it's like you're making demands and you're being very focused on yourself and you're being almost like, it's like your energy feels smothering, right? But I don't feel like there's a lot of like communication happening here. So I'm just going to grab a card out of this Osho Zen deck, specific to the Empress. Make a blind cut. Abundance. All right. This is clarifying for me, this Two of Cups, what I was talking about. So Cancer, here's what I'm going to say, and I am trying to keep these relatively brief, but I just want to sit with you for a moment on this, okay? If someone's important to you, if someone matters to you, if someone is important in your life, even if you are upset with them, it's good for you to be clear with them about what you're feeling and why you feel that way. What it is that you feel they've done, so that they can at least understand it and be clear about it. And at that point, it's up to them whether they can take ownership of it, figure out what they need to do to try to make it right, and try to actually get back into this situation with you. But what I feel like is that this energy here of kind of being like, I'm not engaging, I'm not talking, I'm not open to this, right? I'm disconnected. But I'm going to make sure that you know I'm unhappy. I'm going to make it very clear that I'm unhappy. I'm going to make it very clear that I'm angry with you. I'm going to make it very clear that I'm upset. I'm going to make it very clear, but I'm not going to talk. That's what's going on here with these three cards. But ultimately, there's so much potential here, right? I wanted to get this card just to make sure I wasn't wrong about the energy that I was picking up with this. But you care about this person. They matter to you. And you matter to them. It's a two-way street. But I just feel like the fact that you aren't willing to just have a conversation with them, aside from making it very clear that you're upset and disappointed, it's not leaving a lot of room for this to improve. So communication is kind of going to be key for you, Cancer. And again, if you want to get more insight to this, take a look at the other things that are associated with your moon, your Venus, and your rising sign. All right, Leo, you guys are up next. Before I pull your cards, I'm going to grab a little bit of water. These readings they're long and I talk a lot. Okay, so Leo, let's see what your spirit guides wish to communicate for the sun sign of Leo. Again, as a reminder, if you want to get additional insights, more in-depth clarity, just hang out with me more. You can watch your moon, Venus, and rising signs as well. Continue within this reading. Feels good. Leo, for you, I'm going to make a cut. We're going to go right off the top here. King of Wands reversed, fire sign energy. We have the Eight of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Swords upright, Knight of Cups coming out reversed at the end. Let's talk about this first. So, in Leo, it feels like your own energy here is a little bit out of whack. Okay, so let's talk about this card in its upright position first. So the King of Wands, when it's upright, is a very warm, engaging, charming sort of energy, very outgoing, very confident in you would be very confident in your own energy if this card were upright. With it being reversed, this represents a place where you're feeling a little bit kind of like you're not at your best. You're not quite sure what's going on. I do sense that there's kind of like you can't put your finger on why you feel a little bit out of sorts, but you're just feeling like you're not at your best. You're not like there's energy here about just feeling like really uncertain, really unsure about what to do, what the next move needs to be, what it is that you need to try to put your energy into. I also just feel like your energy levels are just very depleted. I'm kind of talking about this card a little bit here as well as I'm talking about this because, you know, this card when it's reversed is just, you know, not really knowing where to focus, not having any drive, the other thing that's coming through here is kind of, they're saying you just have to pick something and do it. You just have to pick something and do it. And do it well. Do it the way that you would do something that you're very passionate about. What they're communicating here is that your passion is the thing that needs to be dealt with. It's not necessarily about like what you pick or what it is that you choose to do, but having that connection to your passion is what's most important. And once you connect with your passion again, it puts you into a much better situation, which we'll talk about here. But it's frustrating for you because you're not used to this. You're not used to being in a situation where you're not excited and you're not passionate about things. It just feels sort of like someone's like dimmed the lights on you. All right, they've turned down the volume, they've turned down the saturation, they've turned down everything, and you're just sitting there going, I don't even know how to find the energy to do anything. But your guides are saying just pick one thing that you can truly be passionate about and go for it and really commit yourself to it and don't give up. And once you do that, whatever that thing is, right? Whether it's a hobby, whether it's an activity, whether it's a project, whether it's, like it could literally be about, painting a room, right? Just being like, I've wanted to paint this room, or I've wanted to do this project, or I've wanted to, they're showing me a puzzle even, like that's a little bit specific, but whatever it is that you can do, they're saying if you can be passionate about something and you can start it and you can finish it, or you can start it and you can keep going, right? You can keep motivating yourself to keep doing it, then that will begin to spread into other areas of your life. With the Queen of Swords here coming out, one of the things that I think is maybe not talked about very much by readers about the Queen of Swords is that the Queen of Swords is very engaged with learning. Very often with the Queen of Swords, people talk about like the truthfulness and the honesty and the boundaries and kind of, the confidence that comes with that. And that is true. But what I'm getting from this more so is just like a true openness to really, be willing to try to learn something new or to engage in something that you've wanted to learn or you've wanted to research or you've wanted to dive into for a long time. And it feels like it's something that is a little bit challenging, right? And so you do have to motivate yourself and keep yourself on track and really remind yourself why it matters to you. And that, again, is key to kind of getting you into being able to just get your fire back. I feel it very clearly, like just kind of like there's just little embers that are still burning. And it's funny I'm using that analogy because you have this Knight of Cups, or this water energy sitting out here on the end, and I feel like this is just kind of a bit of a warning coming through for you. When your energy is kind of on this end, kind of depleted, that fire energy is really depleted, and it's just kind of a few embers and ashes, and it's really important to kind of like figure out how to get that flame going again. This energy over here can really be problematic for you because the Knight of Cups is, when it's reversed, is about just making promises that aren't kept. It's about being very moody, being, having demands or expectations that aren't realistic. Be really careful with whatever this is that you're not, you don't want to say like, oh, I need to, focus on my health, so I'm going to go next weekend and run a marathon, right? Don't set yourself up to fail in whatever it is that you commit yourself to. Be sure that whatever you commit to is something that you can, number one, remain passionate and excited about. Number two, that it is something that you're able to see through from either start to finish, if it's something that has like a clear endpoint, or something that for sure you can continue to motivate yourself to keep learning and growing and evolving, and break it down. They're being clear here about break it down so that you can measure your success. If it's something that doesn't have a clear endpoint, right? If it's something that maybe it's not like you start this and in 2 weeks it's done, like painting a room. If it's something where you're really trying to learn something or master something, or you're trying to the analogy I gave where you're going to like work on your physical health, then you have to be able to like show yourself that you've made success and that you've made progress. And so they're showing me like steps, right? Where it's like, okay, well, what's my first goal in this, right? So I have my long goal, which is I'm going to do whatever this thing is, right? Learn a new language, master a new craft. I'm going to go back to school, whatever the thing is, right? But it stretches out for a longer period of time. So they're saying, give yourself goals so that you can feel that accomplishment, because the accomplishment and sticking to it and being able to like check things off and see that you're capable and see that you're able to make this work, it spills out and it starts to kind of like take this King of Wands and flip it back upright. So you're getting all that energy, all that strength, all that courage that is just lacking here. Okay, but be really mindful about not giving up on things too soon, not committing to things. You know, I have a friend who is, you know, a spiritual advisor and a coach, and one of the things that they love to talk about is that, you know, when we make promises to ourselves that we're going to do something, and we don't do it, it's like we've broken a promise that we've made to ourselves, and eventually that causes real consequences in our lives, because we start to doubt ourselves and to not have trust in ourselves anymore. And I think that's what's happened here. So you have to prove to yourself that you can trust yourself. When you say that you're going to do something, you yourself need to prove to you that you're going to stick to that and be able to make it happen. So hopefully that was helpful for you. We're going to move on here. Virgo, you guys are up next. I do have to say, if you have not watched the Virgo reading that I did most recently, the round of readings prior to this reading on my channel, the Virgo reading was so good, and I'm wondering if I'm going to tune into that same group of Virgos with this. But let's see what wants to come through from Spirit Guides. If that Virgo reading made sense to you, you might not get messages here, because that reading was so good. I was very proud of the Virgos that resonated with. But let's see. Okay, I'm going to do a cut for you. I'm going to shuffle one more time. I'm going to straight off the top, 4 cards. 7 of Cups upright. We have the 9 of Swords upright. Queen of Wands upright. Wrapping things up with the 4 of Cups, which is reversed. So, Virgos, let's talk about this. 7 of Cups represents being in a place where we, you know, we have some decisions that we need to make. We have choices that are being presented to us. And I think that it's causing a little bit of concern and worry for you here. I just want to sit with these cards for a moment. Bear with me, Virgo. I just want to tune into this so I can be sure that I'm reading this properly. Okay, what this feels like to me, Virgo, is a concern that making one choice means that you're sacrificing, like in particular with this card, right? Like I'm just going to show you, like if you choose this one, in your mind, you're setting this up to mean like, I'm choosing this one, so therefore all of these are taken from me. And that's not what this scenario is. And I think reframing how you're thinking about this is really important. It's interesting that the Queen of Wands has shown up, because the Queen of Wands is a very confident, feisty, self-assured sort of energy. The Queen of Wands doesn't doubt herself at all when she's upright. The Queen of Wands is very much about trusting her gut, being driven by what feels right, being driven by what feels good, being driven by believing that the world is kind of her oyster, and she can, you know, it's like a buffet, and it's I can have this, and I can have this, and I can have this. So that's more where you need to be, right? The 4 of Cups sitting over here reversed, you know, this represents being in a place where we're starting to look at things from a different perspective. We have a new outlook about a situation. Some new option is being revealed to us that maybe we didn't have before. And I think that's what's key here. I think the messages coming through from your spirit guides is that you don't have to make just one choice. It's not about making one choice and eliminating others, right? It's coming through as saying, it almost feels like a situation where you have too many things that you're considering right now. And the reason that it feels so high pressure and so high stake to you is because you're creating, I think it's called like a zero-sum game, right? And that's not what this is. You have to make some choices. You have to make some decisions that then allow you to progress forward. When you make those choices and you make those decisions and you progress forward, you're presented with a whole other round of choices and a whole other round of opportunities and a whole other round of possibilities, right? But you're kind of making yourself stuck and unable to move forward into that because you're scared that if you make the wrong choice, or if you, pick something, then it's going to mean that other things are taken away from you. And that's not at all how this feels to me energetically. If this is resonating with you in terms of energy, you might want to go watch that Virgo reading. And again, it's the Virgo reading posted right before April 2021. Because that's where I want you guys to be energetically, is understanding that you're in control, and whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you desire, you're able to pull that towards you. Okay. But yeah, you just have to be, you have to shift. They're showing me again, like, when I do these readings where it's like spirit guides, it's always interesting to me because I'm shown like the most bizarre things, and I'm literally seeing like a big buffet, like, it's specific to me. It's like a soup plantation that I went to when I lived in LA when I was younger, right? And it's like there are all of these options, and it's not like you go and you say, oh, well, I'm going to get this, and then the staff comes rushing out from the kitchen and they take everything else away. That's not how it works, right? And so your guides are saying, it's repeating over and over, like, your life is a buffet. Your life is a buffet. There are many, many, many options. Don't be overwhelmed by them. Make the choices that you need to make. You then progress forward, and you're presented with another buffet, and you get to take what you want from that one and move forward, and there's another buffet. It just keeps going and going and going. But you're letting fear block you from that, and you have to get more into your confidence and think about this differently. Right? Allow yourself to kind of think about life from a different perspective, so that it's not about wrong choices. It's just about choices that lead to more choices, that lead to more choices. That's what this card is really talking about. Okay? So, Virgo, if you want more insight into that, be sure that you watch your moon, Venus, or rising signs that are included in this reading as well. Hey there, Libra. I'm just removing Virgo from my list so that I don't skip over anyone. Welcome to your reading. Going to shuffle here, and I feel like I need to mix these cards up a little bit for you, Libra, so bear with me as I do that. Okay, so we're going to do 3 shuffles. I'll do 1 cut, go straight off the top of the deck for you, Libra. 2, 3. There's the cut. 3 of Wands reversed. 9 of Pentacles upright. 2 of Pentacles reversed. 6 of Pentacles upright. Well, Libra, you could be definitely looking at things related to your career, your finances, your professional life. It could also just be related to kind of like notion of your life in general. All aspects of your life, the financial, the emotional, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, like all components. You're currently in a situation, though, where you're dealing with a lot of frustration because things aren't going the way that you want them to go. You're dealing with a lot of things that are causing problems. I feel like there are lots of setbacks, lots of delays. I'm getting a lot of frustration from you just in terms of like wanting this to wrap up, wanting things just to start to work in your favor, wanting things to go more smoothly. But what I can tell you about this is that there's kind of like there's a blessing on the other side of things kind of not going the way that you wanted them to, right? I feel like one of the things that's coming through here is that like you've gotten in your mind, Libra, very like there's a lot of clarity in your mind about what you want, right? How you want it, when you want it, why you want it, who it is, what it is. Like it's very clear in your mind. But the universe is kind of saying here, some of those things aren't necessarily the best possible outcome for you. And the universe is kind of fighting you on this. The more that you can kind of take a step back and adopt an attitude of, okay, if something's delayed, it means that there's a purpose. It means I'm being protected. If something doesn't work out, then that means that that wasn't the best possible outcome. If something doesn't go the way that I planned, it means that I'm trying to be shown something that I need to deal with. But the universe is trying to conspire to get you into this energy of the 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles is a great place to be. It's where, we have a life of luxury. We have the things that we want. We are, the only thing that's really missing here is that move into, the 10 of Pentacles, which is really about, having that life fully built, where we have, If we want a partner, we have a partner. If we want a family, we have a family. If we have a specific career that we want, we're in that career. If we have a certain amount of money we want, we have that. The universe is really trying to nudge you closer and closer and closer to that. This Two of Pentacles being reversed over here, you know, it's kind of this thing where it's hard, Libra, and it's funny because like you guys are represented by like, you know, like I'm doing this, right? Like the scales and trying to find balance here. But when we think we know what it is that we want and we've put a lot of effort and energy to it, and the universe kind of comes back and says, not the best thing, how about this? It can be challenging to just commit to that and to say, okay, because it's not necessarily what we want. And it makes us feel a little bit thrown, right? In that we felt very certain that either a specific person or a specific thing was going to be what was meant for us and what would bring us happiness. And the universe has now come back and said, no, I'm sorry, but that's not that's not for you, or that's not for your good. And you're struggling a little bit to try to like be okay with that. But ultimately, with the Six of Pentacles here, right, you do find balance. I think that the key here is really in this card, Libra, in you know, like I'm just going to show you here on this card, right? Like literally there are the scales. You have to balance your wishes and your desires and what it is that you want with trust and faith and confidence in the universe. And your spirit guides are really saying here, we are trying to give you good things. We're trying to really give you more than what you've asked for, more than you thought you deserved, more than what you thought you needed. We're trying to give you abundance. We're trying to make sure that you know, you have everything that you need and then some. That's the energy of this Six of Pentacles. But you're kind of fighting it because from your perspective where you're at right now, you're saying, why is this not working? Why is this being delayed? Why am I, you know, like you're kind of lashing out. Like imagine if you were really hungry, right? And you know, you were like, gosh, you know, I just want like, I just want like a sandwich and some water. And someone shows up and they have like your favorite meal, right? It's like a 5-course feast from your favorite restaurant, and you get mad because they didn't bring you the sandwich and the water. So stop. You know, I get it. I've been in this situation myself. I understand the energy, but the universe is really, your spirit guides are being very clear that they are wanting to give you more than what you've asked for. They're wanting to give you something bigger and better than what you have put in the request for, but you're getting mad because it doesn't look how you expected it to look. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Be open to things maybe not being what you thought they were going to be, but better. Be open to that. Be open to that possibility. Okay? All right. Moving on to the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, give me 1 second while I remove Libra from my list here. Hope you guys are doing well. I always like to say hello to the Scorpios. I am a fellow Scorpio. All of my Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Uranus, and my midheaven are all in Scorpio. So all of my major 5, it's a lot of Scorpio energy to deal with. So let me move some of these cards in terms of their positions. Just make sure everything's mixed up. All right. I'm going to do 2 more shuffles beyond this one, and then we will go 2 cuts. Cut number 1. And cut number 2. We're going to go straight off the top of the deck for you, Scorpio. Empress coming out upright. King of Cups reversed. Page of Cups reversed. Emperor upright. All right, Scorpios, let's talk about this. Scorpios, this is very interesting. We have a matched pair here. This is the first time that's happened in these readings. We have the Empress coming out with the Emperor. There's a little bit of problems between them, though, that need to be dealt with and worked out. King of Cups being reversed here. Okay, this represents energy of, you know, potentially like manipulation of some sort. There's a certain amount of emotional volatility that I'm picking up on here. Scorpio, this feels like this could be on your side. There's a little bit of kind of cold, blocked, unfeeling sort of energy. The King of Cups upright is very like in tune with the emotions. The emotions are very balanced, and they're not repressed, they're not controlled, they flow easily, and they're just allowed to be. This feels like someone who is, you know, in a situation where they've kind of cut themselves off. They're being very distant. They're not being very straightforward with their feelings or their emotions. It's interesting here because, like, I'm pushing those two up because there's potential here. There's so much potential here for happiness. But on one side, you have someone who is, like I said, they're being very cold. They're being very distant. They are not sharing their feelings. They might be kind of being a little bit emotionally manipulative by withholding, by not communicating. And then the other person, right, Page of Cups, this person is, you know, kind of being a little bit of a brat. There's a certain amount of immaturity here, because they're hurt, and they're you know, they're not happy with the way that things have gone, and so they're kind of lashing out. So what this feels like is one person is kind of being distant, one person is holding back, one person is not showing their emotions, and the other person is just lashing out, throwing their emotions, throwing their feelings, you know, just bombarding the other person with what's going on, and that's keeping these two cards apart, right? There are problems here. It's not stuff that can't be resolved, because again, both of these cards came out. Both of these cards are upright. Your spirit guides are saying there's potential here. This is a very powerful match. These are not even like, you know, it's not the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. This is the Empress and the Empress, a major arcana type of connection. So this is a very spiritual connection. But one person has to learn how to open up and to trust and to be willing to communicate and to be willing to express themselves and to not be as cold and detached. And the other person has to learn how to rein in their emotions a little bit and to be able to not lash out, not be as, I'm sorry, but I just have to say, like, this really does feel kind of like immature, bratty behavior, where it's like just saying things to get a reaction, saying things that you know are going to be hurtful, doing things that are kind of like to push buttons. It makes sense why these two people aren't together right now, because there's no room for that here, right? You have to be able to have these cards expressed in a better way, right? Page of Cups upright is about opportunity and affection and the opportunity for a new love and being willing to kind of like learn and grow. The King of Cups, when it's upright, is about being comfortable with a really intense type of relationship, having your emotions in check, being balanced, being open with your emotions, sharing your feelings openly. That's the key to allowing these two people to eventually come together. But that's not the energy that's coming through right now. Your guides are saying, number one, this is a connection that they support. This is a connection that they do want to see flourish, but they are deliberately kind of keeping these two people apart right now because of the issues that exist primarily around communication, around feelings and emotions. I will say here that this could be a situation where you have two water signs who are in a relationship together. So, you know, Scorpio, you might be involved with another Scorpio, Pisces, or a Cancer. It doesn't have to be that, but with, you know, King of Cups and Page of Cups showing up as what's going on here, I just want to acknowledge that for the people who are in that specific situation. And whichever one of these you resonate with, I think it's a mix between, you know, the Scorpios who are going to hear this. Some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, I have been a little bit of a brat. I have been, you know, kind of like lashing out because I'm hurt. Some of you will connect more with feeling like you're detached and kind of cold. But you have to stop. You have to stop doing that if you want to ultimately have this relationship work. You have to learn how to you know, communicate and be vulnerable and be open. But there's so much potential. You know, this is a matched pair. And this, you know, this doesn't happen very often in tarot. I just have to tell you, you know, usually if one card comes out and the other one comes out, one of them's reversed. And so it means there are issues with the connection, you know, in terms of long term. But this has a lot of potential, right? So I would say work on this. It's worth working on the things that are getting in the way so that you can eventually have this connection, because energetically it feels like something that could be really good for you. Now, again, I just want to remind you, if you want to get more insight or more messages coming through, I would say specifically with this one, if you know your moon and Venus signs for sure, because that's going to represent kind of your emotions and your feelings and potential in love and relationship, but also your rising sign, if you know what that is, those readings specifically might carry more messages coming through or give you a little bit more in-depth understanding about this. But again, it's worth working on this, right? It's worth kind of owning what you've been doing that's kept this from working out and doing the work that you need to do so that these two people can communicate a little bit more effectively with each other. Okay, so Scorpios, we're going to clear you away. We're moving to Sagittarius, but Sagittarius, I have to sneeze one moment. Oh, I'm not sure if that is from Scorpio or if that's just tuning into the energy for you, Sagittarius. Let me remove Scorpio from my list so I don't get confused here. Okay. And my nose is very itchy. And usually that means that energy is kind of ramping up a little bit. It's not going away. So Saggies, what's going on with you? Okay. I'm going to do 2 cuts for you. One more. All right, we're going to go right off the top. King of Pentacles reversed. Page of Pentacles reversed. Justice upright. 7 of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so Sagittarius, lots of pentacles showing up here. This could be a situation where you're dealing with things specific to your work, your money, your career, your professional life. And things not necessarily working out the way that you want them to. One of the things coming out immediately with this King of Pentacles, one of the things that happens sometimes with the King of Pentacles reversed is this could be a place where we've overindulged in some way, or we've kind of allowed ourselves to get into some sort of excessive behavior. Very often with Sagittarius, that can mean overspending. And I feel like that's really what this is. This Page of Pentacles can represent things about, typically the Page of Pentacles is associated with like learning in school. If it's upright, it's kind of that, the apprentice card. It's where we're really trying to like work at something new, understand something. We are, connected to our desire. When it's reversed, it's like we're either not putting in the work, we're being lazy, or there's something that's just blocking us from being able to do what we need to do. These 2 cards together, it's a little concerning for me, Saggies. I'll be honest with you. And the energy coming through in terms of your spirit guides is saying, like, it almost feels more like a warning, which that makes me feel a little bit better. It's saying, like, don't overspend. Don't get too caught up in kind of like chasing after either things that you don't really need that you just want to have so you can say you have them, or getting so kind of swept up. This is the other thing with Sagittarius. Very often if you guys connect to something, either like a new hobby or a new interest, you love to just dive in and go 100% into it. But if it's something that, if it's a new hobby and, getting started really only requires that you have like a couple of pieces of things and you can add to it later. But for you, you're like, well, I just want to go ahead and get everything that I might ever need so I have it all and I don't have to wait. It's best to just get what you need to get started, because if not, you end up in a situation where there's some consequences to it, right? The Justice card, when it's upright, is a good card, right? It's about fairness. Typically, it's about, truth. But the other thing that the Justice card means is action and reaction, cause and effect. Something happens, there's consequences to it, right? So even though something feels good, something feels like it's what we want, it's not always the best situation to go with that, because there, even if we make ourselves feel good and we that it's fleeting. They're saying it's fleeting. That feeling of accomplishment is fleeting, because then you have to deal with all this stress, that comes as a result of it. Now with the Seven of Coins, which is reversed here, it's just more of that same energy. Seven of Coins can represent things about, giving up on something too soon, being impatient about a certain type of situation, having doubts about a specific situation. But the other thing with the Seven of Coins, when it's upright, it represents kind of taking our time and putting in the work and putting in the efforts that we need in order to have results at the end of it, right? It's kind of the Seven of Coins when it's upright is about, we put in effort, and then it's kind of like the success and the reward of that is delayed, right? We have to wait to see those results. When it's reversed, it's someone who's saying, but I want it now, and I need it now, and I don't want to wait, right? But when that's the energy that's coming through, it ends up that there isn't a reward at the end, right? So be really cautious, Saggies, that you're not overextending yourself. This really does feel like just a clear-cut warning coming through saying, don't overspend, don't deplete your savings, don't invest in something that requires you to put more than you can afford to put in. Don't make decisions if you can't actually afford to see them through. It's very clear that there are consequences that are a result of poor management of money, or being impatient, or making impulsive decisions about something. And they're being very clear that there will be consequences that you won't like if you don't listen to this, right? There will be things that come as a result of the decisions that you make now that will impede you from being able to have the success and the growth that you want. Because if you become stressed out and worried about money and finances, then you have to focus on getting those things back in order rather than focusing on the things that you want to be focusing on and having fun with. Okay, so hopefully that helped. Not necessarily the best news for you, I don't think, but it's good to hear it now. It's good to hear it now rather than have it be something that pops up for you later. Moving on to the sign of Capricorn. Cappies, I just want to shuffle a little bit here, get the cards mixed up. Reminder, if you want to get more insight, more clarity, more messages that are coming through, or if you just want to hang out with me a little bit more, be sure that you watch your moon, Venus, and rising signs contained within this video as well. Okay. Capricorn. Spirit guides wish to reveal the sun sign of Capricorn. Okay. Nine of Pentacles reversed, Three of Wands upright, Ace of Swords upright, Four of Cups coming out here reversed. Let's start here. Capricorns, you're going to hate hearing this, but this is the workaholic card. And I do feel like this is really coming through and saying to you, it can't be all work. It cannot be all work. You cannot be solely focused on work, work, work. It's very interesting to me because I'm not sensing that this is a problem right now. Like, I'm not sensing like you're having to work because you're like dealing with money issues, or you've put yourself into a situation where you've spent too much and you're trying to like recoup it. I'm not feeling that sort of energy. What's interesting, with the Three of Wands sitting next to this is about like growth and expansion and happiness, right? So I feel like what's happened here is like you've been putting in a lot of work trying to get yourself to a specific situation, and you haven't realized that you've arrived there, right? The Three of Wands is really about being in that place where we are able to look back at the choices that we made, the plans that we made, and we are now, seeing the results of that, and we can express gratitude towards it and really watch it start to develop and grow. Your energy is still aligned to this notion of like, I've got to go, I've got to work, I've got to try, I've got to, I'm seeing like someone like their hands gripped on a steering wheel, like trying frantically to like, oh, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, but they have plenty of time. They have plenty of time. The results of the work that you've put in, they're there, but you're too focused on like that energy of like, I've got to go, I got to keep going and going and going. You have to realize that you're at a place now where it's time to see it through, right? It's time to allow it to grow and expand, and to be thankful that this is something that you've created. The Ace of Swords is showing up here for you because this is about needing to kind of clear your mind and think about things in a new way, to allow yourself to Like they're saying you need to see things the way that they really are. You know, the Ace of Swords and the Four of Cups reversed, it's very similar energy, because the Four of Cups reversed is about, you know, a new direction being presented, some new option being presented, having a change within our own outlook on a situation. Like I said, I don't sense anything here energetically that's saying like you're in trouble and you need to put in the hard work and you need to keep focusing, because if not, you know, like this is gonna snowball and you're gonna, like, I don't feel that. Everything here is basically pointing to, you have to take a step back. You have to detach yourself from that like driven, working, performance, driven for success, ambition sort of energy. You have to take yourself out of that and be able to be present to celebrate your success. Acknowledge your success. Acknowledge what it is that you've built. Acknowledge what it is that you've accomplished. The spirit guides are just there. It's the same sort of things coming through, because what they're saying is, if you don't stop to acknowledge when you've had success, if you don't stop to acknowledge what you've accomplished, if you don't stop to acknowledge all of the things that you overcame to still manage to come out on top, you're always going to feel like you're behind. You're always going to feel like you need to keep pushing yourself, because you're never giving yourself credit. You're never giving yourself the acknowledgement that you need. And they're trying to give you the acknowledgement constantly, but specifically through this reading, they're just wanting you to hear like they're proud of you, and they want you to be proud of you too. They really want you to be able to just pause and step out and look at the reality of things, and to think where you were this time last year, and to see how much you've accomplished, and that you've accomplished it against major obstacles and major what is that energy? Like it feels like there were people who were like rooting for you not to succeed. Like I'm picking up on just kind of like hater energy. Like those people who just, they see someone who's about to get what they've been going after, and they just, you know, they're jealous, and they just want to see the person fail. But you overcame all of that. But you have to acknowledge that. It's very important that you acknowledge that for yourself. Because if you do that, what they're saying is, if you give yourself that acknowledgement, if you allow yourself to celebrate what you've accomplished, then it kind of becomes like a reset point. Okay, I might talk to you guys for a little bit, because they're wanting me to talk to you about like mental equivalence. Some of you might know what that is, but you know, basically think about like, I'm going to try to come up with something really easy to talk to you about. Okay, so let's think about like someone who wants to be like an Olympic diver, right? And so they learn how to swim, and then they start on like a low diving board, and they do a very simple, just like, right? They just dive in. That's what they're showing me. And then eventually they do like where they're facing away from the water, and they do but then eventually the person keeps like developing their confidence and developing their trust in themselves, and they see their success, and they're able to go up to a platform, and then eventually they're doing very complicated dives, and they're trying to be perfect at that, right? What they're saying is that if you don't take the time to acknowledge your successes, then you will keep yourself on those lower platforms, those lower diving boards, and you'll never be able to get up to the levels where you want, where you're taking bigger risk and bigger chances. Because yes, your drive and your ambition and your hard work is one component of it, but acknowledging the success and acknowledging when you've had breakthroughs and acknowledging everything that you've overcome is as important as that drive and ambition. Taking those moments to acknowledge when you've gone up a level is important, because if you don't acknowledge that, you don't have the awareness of like, you can now reach for bigger things. You can push yourself to even bigger, towards bigger goals. Okay. So celebrate, take yourself out to a dinner, do something nice for yourself. You've earned it. You deserve it. All right. So give me one moment, Aquarius. I'm just going to take Capricorn off my list. If not, I skip signs, and then I get a comment that's like, you didn't do this sign. So Aquarius, I hope you guys are doing well. Just give me a moment to shuffle here. Just sticking with this one deck for this reading. So I need to mix the cards up in between each of the signs. All right. 3 cuts. 1, Final cut here. One last shuffle. Going straight from the top of the deck. Queen of Wands reversed. 8 of Swords reversed. King of Swords reversed. 9 of Cups upright. Good. All right, Aquarius, let's talk about this. Queen of Wands. Aquarius, I feel like this is one of those situations where you've kind of, you've kind of detached yourself. You kind of pulled away, and you're just in this energy of focusing on you, and not really being willing to engage with people. It feels to me like potentially it's something that's coming to a close. This eight of Swords here being reversed, I like that it's reversed because that typically indicates energy where, someone's starting to get a little bit of hope coming in. They're starting to feel like, it's time to move away from whatever it is that they've been trapped in, to liberate themselves from something, to have some sort of escape, or to walk away or leave some sort of energy. But it's just starting to bubble to the surface. So you've been in a place where you've kind of been pulled back and not willing to really engage with people. This King of Swords is interesting to me. This doesn't feel like your energy. Yeah, this isn't you. This feels like this is the cause of you kind of pulling away. Aquarius, I'm just going to tell you, I feel like you got manipulated. I feel like someone really spun a really good story. They had a good game. And they kind of got the upper hand. And it pissed you off. It made you really angry. But I do just have to say here, this isn't going to make it any better, right? This isn't going to make it any better in terms of like what happened, but this person was good. This person was good at being able to like be believable, and they were able to cover their tracks. And it feels like to me, like you just managed to figure out what they were up to, either because something happened and they just totally dropped the ball on something. They just absolutely like, they got sloppy, or someone filled you in. But there's energy here that just feels like you kind of like went to lick your wounds because it really pissed you off that this person was able to kind of trick you, and you didn't see it. It's good though that you are starting to kind of move on from this. But again, like I feel like it's just starting to happen. I don't think you're ready yet to really just kind of like fully re-engage with people. And that's not necessarily the vibe of your sign anyway. It's just go out there and start like, completely trying to make like all these contacts with people. But it feels more like this 8 of Swords is representing like your trust in yourself, right? Like being able to trust yourself again. And that's really the underlying issue here, is the fact that like this person, you didn't see it, you didn't know, right? You were unaware. And so you've kind of been like beating yourself up about that. What's really important for you is this 9 of Cups sitting over here. The 9 of Cups is all about like, what is it that we want? What is it that we hope to have? What is it that we are aiming for? What brings us joy? What brings us happiness? What is it that we want to manifest? What is the dream we're chasing, or the wish that we're making? Okay. That's the energy that I want you guys to start to shift yourself into. Don't focus on this person. There are some people in this world, no matter how, good you are at being able to read people, or how much, you pride yourself on being able to not be misled, not be lied to, not be tricked. There are just some people in this world who are so good at being manipulative, and it's natural to them, and they don't really have to think about it. It's just something that they do very easily. And unfortunately, you encountered one of those people. It's rare. Those people are rare. So odds are you're not going to encounter someone who's that good at it again. Other people will fall short of that person. So in a way, this person is a weird type of blessing because, you know, now you know what a master manipulator is like. So a normal manipulator who isn't that great at it, you're going to see them coming from a mile away. And even if you deal with someone who is like this person again, you know, you'll have alarm bells and you'll see red flags that you didn't see the first time around, because you are someone who will learn the lessons that you need to learn and to integrate them into to be better. You are striving to make yourself better, wiser. That's the word they're saying, is wiser. Now, I do want to talk to you just really quickly about the Nine of Cups. I love the Nine of Cups because, you know, this card in particular is not depicted this way, but imagine if this card, I'll show it to you here. Imagine, you know, you have these 9 cups back here. Imagine if the one in the middle was in this person's hand. Okay, that's my preferred illustration of this card. Because what's happened in that situation is that this person has taken that 9th cup, which is the wish fulfillment, the dream that they're chasing, the things that they want. They've taken that, right? They've claimed that as their cup. That then becomes their Ace of Cups. And then there are 8 cups left, and the 8 of Cups is about moving on from something. Okay, so I love the 9 of Cups as a card because it's really about reclaiming yourself, right? Being able to move away from something that has maybe not gone the way that you want it to. Take the things that you need to take from it and move forward, right? And I think that is what you need to do here. You need to just allow this person to fall away, allow this person to become, you know, a distant memory. Don't put any more effort or energy into it. Don't beat yourself up anymore, because what they're communicating here is that, number one, this person, they're just saying, again, they were really good. They were really, really good at it. And number two, this has allowed you to have a little bit more insight into how adept some people are when it comes to lying and covering things up. And now you're better equipped to deal with it, right? Was it a hard lesson? Yes. Was it a necessary lesson? They're saying yes. If you want to argue with them, fight with your guides, because this is coming through from them. But they want you to move on. They want you to let this go. They want you to move forward, because there are blessings that they want to bring in, because this has been a period of time where you've been through some stuff, right? And they want to kind of reward you for enduring it and coming out the other side of it kind of better equipped. All right. So Pisces, we finally have made it to you. It's always weird when I do these in order. I feel like I'm neglecting you guys. But it's the way it works when I need to put them into the actual order. So I did just get a flash of the 10 of Cups. We'll see if that wants to come out. With knowledge, I did see that very clearly. Let's do a couple of cuts for you, Pisces. I'm going to turn this middle stack of cards and I'll shuffle them back in. One more shuffle and I'm going to go straight off the top of the deck. For Pisces sun sign, King of Swords reversed, the Death card upright, 10 of Swords reversed, and the 5 of Wands upright. Well, Pisces, you guys have been through some stuff. Or I think, actually, I said you've been through some stuff. The guides said going through some stuff or stuff is approaching. So this might be more of a warning, I guess, insight into what might be approaching you. Start with this King of Swords. King of Swords reversed is someone who is up to no good. They are sneaky. They are manipulative. They are not telling the truth. They are focused on what it is that they want. They're not scared to make threats or to intimidate to try to get their way, to try to get things to play in their favor. You know, Pisces, I feel like you have an awareness of this. I feel like you are starting to have suspicions about a specific person. You might have very well clicked through on this video wanting to see what your guides had to say about this person. There's your confirmation on that. I'm saying that because the card that follows this is the Death card. And this is the card associated with your fellow water sign Scorpio. And so this is about endings, letting go of things, changes, you know, something that is transformed in a way so that it is really kind of different than it was. This, you know, that cycle of death and rebirth, the transformation associated with this. So I think in your mind, you're already kind of like realizing that that's what needs to happen here, that this connection with this person, and this does feel like a connection with a person, needs to come to an end. what's great about this is the Ten of Swords is showing up, but it is showing up in a reversal, which means you've already started to kind of heal from this, right? You've already started to move on from it. You're realizing that this is something that's inevitable. It's something that needs to close out so that you can start something new elsewhere. Like I said, I feel like your suspicions have been up about this person, but you haven't quite yet pulled the trigger. Now, what I will say to you is that even though for you, this is a situation where you're embracing this and starting the process already to let this close out, to walk away from it, you do have the Five of Wands that's showing up here. And the Five of Wands is really about someone who, comes in and they're not, it's competition, challenges, obstacles. This feels like the other person coming in saying, no, 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 you're not going to get rid of me that easily. I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to try to convince you to, not give up on this. There's lots of conflict around this that you're going to have to deal with. And I think that it's important that you understand that this person will kind of go to extremes, I feel. Pisces, let's do this. Since you guys are the last one, I did not do this for anyone else, but I have my Oracle deck here. I just want to see what when I grab, if I just grab a random card here. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. Okay? Pisces, ask yourself if you really truly love this person. Ask if this is the relationship, the way that this relationship is. Ask yourself if this is what you truly think love is like. If this is truly the type of loving relationship, loving connection that you want in your life. That is what's going to allow you to remain steadfast and confident in your decision to allow this to close out and to not be, right? This person is going to present you lots of lies. They're going to present lots of manipulation. They're going to present lots of challenges and fighting about the things that you want to do. They're not going to want to walk away. They're not going to want to allow you to walk away. It's a lot. And so the way that you can really keep yourself from kind of falling back into this pattern with this person and maybe, being tricked or deceived into believing that things are going to be different is to constantly realign yourself with your notion of love. Constantly realign yourself with what you would want from a loving, caring partner. What I mean by that is, if in a loving, caring relationship, if you say to someone, you know what, I need some time and space. I need some time to think. I need some time by myself. Someone who truly cares for you will say, okay, well, that's going to be hard for me because I'll miss you. But if that's what you need, then I'll work with you on it. How much time do you need? Now, if what you get when you tell someone you need some time and space to think is that they bombard you with text, they are calling you constantly, they're showing up at your home, they're pressuring you to give them an answer, they're pressuring you to talk to them, they're not listening to your needs, that's not love. That's not a loving relationship. Right? So the more that you can constantly remind yourself what you would truly want, how you would want a truly loving partner to respond to you when you say you need certain things, this person is not going to be giving you that. And it's going to be really clear to you then. You'll see through kind of what they're doing to kind of like confuse you. I think this person gaslights a lot, to be honest with you, because I'm kind of getting that where it's like, if you say like, I need some time just to think, that they'll turn that around on you and say, well, if you really cared about me, you'd want to spend your time with me. Right? Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Okay? So, Pisces, like I've reminded other signs, if you want to get some more clarity or insight into this, get some more messages that are coming through, you can also watch your moon, your Venus, and your rising signs. But that's going to wrap things up. Whoever is here, I never know with these readings who's here at the end. So I'm just going to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please take a moment to leave some comments for me. And give the video a thumbs up. Share it with other people who might want to hear the messages coming through. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.